saw Royce's grimace. "I didn't do anything," Royce replied hesitantly. "For the record, I said it probably wasn't a good idea." "You said this to whom and about what?" Sawyer didn't need to wait for an answer. There was only one person who was notorious for planning parties for all occasions at the spur of the moment. She also happened to have Royce wrapped around her perfectly manicured pinky finger, too. Fuck. "My mother planned a welcome-home party, didn't she?" Royce's wince was answer enough. "At our house?" Our house. It had slipped out easily and automatically, like it was a foregone conclusion, even though they hadn't talked about the next step in their relationship. It sounded right and felt amazing, so Sawyer refused to walk it back. "Yes, but she promised they wouldn't stay long," Sawyer groaned. "They? Who all is coming?" "Your family and a few of our closest friends who've been worried about you." Royce reached over to hold his hand, then suddenly stopped when he recalled Sawyer's injuries. Sawyer hated Royce's hesitation to touch him more than he hated how vain he'd become, worrying about scarring when he should just be grateful he was still alive to feel Royce's touch on his bare skin, scarred or not, someday. Sawyer held up his hand, wiggling his newly bandaged digits with the added protection of fingerless gloves. "I have more freedom now. I can do a hell of a lot with these fingertips." Sawyer thought it was a miracle the burns on his hands weren't more severe, because he'd raised his arms to protect his head when the church altar burst into a wall of flames. His worst injuries were caused by synthetic materials in his clothes melting against his skin and continuing to burn even after the flames were extinguished when he dropped and rolled on the ground. Luckily, his worst wounds didn't require skin grafting, and clothes would hide his scars. He was the only one who'd have to see the marred flesh, and Royce. Sawyer was more nervous about that than he cared to admit. "There's a hell of a lot I want to do with your fingertips, too," Royce said. "It'll just have to wait until everyone clears out. I can't be selfish." "Yes, you can," Sawyer countered eagerly. Royce laughed for the first time since walking into Sawyer's hospital room that morning. "About that double penetration stuff. I was seriously just testing to see if you were paying attention. Your dick is more than enough for me." "Good thing." Royce's matter-of-fact voice made Sawyer grin. "The sky is blue, the grass is green. My dick is enough for you. It's just the way things are." In case Sawyer needed a clearer picture, Royce expanded by laying down some rules. A finger went up. "No other dude's dick will ever be invited to our party." 2 fingers. "You need a new dildosaurus." "Why? Did you break mine while I was laid up?" No," Royce replied dryly. "I can't allow you to use the same dildo as our former mayor, or I'll never stop seeing the montage of videos and pics she sent to her boy toy." "Ugh," Sawyer said. "We'll throw it out as soon as we get home." He knew it would take a long time before Lynette Goodwin's scandalous affair with Ryan Tedrick died down. Not only was the young man someone she had known since he was 5 years old, Ryan also happened to be her sister-in-law's stepson. It would take even longer for him and Royce to move forward after solving the case of the crazed priest who'd plotted and carried out his plans to expose the sinful people in power and purify the city by fire. The flames had nearly cost Sawyer and Royce their lives. "Maybe we should wait until everyone leaves before disposing of the retired sex toys," Royce said, gently linking their fingers together. "Yeah, you're right." Royce nodded. "I usually am." Sawyer snorted but didn't argue. He was just content to feel Royce's fingers between his, even if he wished the bandages and gloves didn't prevent him from feeling the heat from Royce's flesh. His happiness dissipated when he saw the volume of familiar cars in his driveway and parked along the street. "A few of our closest friends, huh?" Royce smiled wryly. "You're loved by all." Sawyer touched the bandages on his head with his free hand, a habit he'd formed since finding out about the burns. Insecurity was a familiar foe, and he wasn't happy with its